You wake up after a full night of sleep, 8 hours, maybe 9, and within an hour of being awake, you're already tired again. Not the kind of tired that coffee fixes, not the kind that a nap fixes, something deeper, something that sits behind your eyes and in your chest and makes even the smallest tasks feel like you're moving through water. You cancel plans you actually wanted to go to. You sit down to do something simple and just can't. And the strangest part? You can't always explain why. Nothing dramatic happened. You're not sick. You just feel completely emptied out. And here's where it gets interesting, because this kind of tired isn't really about sleep at all. If this is you, the first thing you need to hear is this: you are not lazy. You are not weak. You are not broken. What you're experiencing has a name, and it makes complete sense once you understand what's actually happening inside you. Your brain is not malfunctioning. It's doing exactly what it was designed to do. It's protecting you. It's just been protecting you for a very long time, and that kind of vigilance has a cost, and that cost is the exhaustion you feel every single day. There's a particular kind of person who ends up in this state, and it's rarely the person who does nothing. It's almost always the person who feels everything. Think about how you move through a day, not just the tasks, the emotional labor underneath them, the reading of rooms, the managing of other people's moods before you've even addressed your own, the constant low-level monitoring. Did I say the wrong thing? Are they upset with me? Did I do enough? Is everything okay? That inner voice doesn't clock out. It runs quietly in the background of everything you do, like software that never fully closes. And software that never closes drains the battery every time. This is what psychologists sometimes describe as hypervigilance, a nervous system that learned, somewhere along the way, that it needed to stay alert. Maybe the environment you grew up in was unpredictable. Maybe love felt conditional. Maybe things were fine on the surface, but emotionally you were always waiting for the other shoe to drop. Your brain adapted. It became an early warning system, and early warning systems are exhausting to run. The reframe here is profound. Your tiredness is not a character flaw. It's the result of a system that worked extremely hard to keep you safe. There's another layer to this that most people never connect to their exhaustion, and it's the weight of unexpressed emotion. Emotions are energy. When they move through you freely, when you cry, when you speak, when you process, they complete their cycle and release. But when emotions are suppressed, stored, swallowed down because it wasn't safe or appropriate to feel them, they don't disappear. They accumulate. They sit in the body like unread files taking up storage space, and eventually the system slows down under the load. A lot of chronically tired people grew up in environments where big emotions weren't welcome, where being too sensitive was a problem, where you learned early that composure was valued over honesty, that keeping the peace was more important than expressing pain. So you became good at it. You became excellent at containing yourself. And now you wonder why you're always depleted. But the containing is the reason. You've been spending enormous energy every single day holding things in that were always meant to move through. But here's the part nobody tells you. The exhaustion itself becomes a form of communication. When everything else has been suppressed long enough, when your nervous system has been overactivated quietly for years with no outlet, your body eventually does the only thing left. It stops. Not dramatically, not all at once, just slowly, persistently, it starts saying no. To engagement, to plans, to effort. Because your nervous system is not punishing you, it's asking for something it's never fully received. Rest. Not just sleep. Safety. This changes with age in ways that are worth sitting with. In your teens and 20s, this kind of tiredness often gets masked. Adrenaline is high. The pace of life covers it. You push through. You perform. You assume this is just how everyone feels, and you carry on. But somewhere in your late 20s or 30s, the masking gets harder. The recovery takes longer. What used to take a day to bounce back from now takes a week. And some people panic at this, thinking something is wrong with them, when actually something is becoming honest. The body is simply less willing to pretend. And in that way, the deepening exhaustion isn't really a decline, it's a clarification. Your system getting louder what it needs. The behavior doesn't disappear as you age, it becomes more specific, more insistent, more honest about its origins. What chronic tiredness really does, on a deep functional level, is regulate an overwhelmed emotional system. When you're exhausted, you feel less. The volume turns down. The hypervigilance quiets slightly, because you simply don't have the bandwidth to run it at full capacity. In a strange way, the exhaustion becomes a kind of shelter, a blanket pulled over a nervous system that has been exposed to too much for too long. It's not healthy in the long run, but it's not random either. It makes complete sense as a response to a life that has required too much emotional output and offered too little genuine restoration. The exhaustion becomes familiar. It becomes home in a way, not because you want it there, but because it's been there long enough that the nervous system knows how to exist inside it. Chaos becomes exhausting, but exhaustion, in a strange way, becomes predictable. And predictability, even painful predictability, feels safer than the unknown. So if you're someone who feels tired all the time, not just physically, but in that deep, nameless, cellular way, know this. You are not failing at life. You are not failing at being a person. You are someone whose system has been carrying more than most people can see, carrying emotion, carrying awareness, carrying responsibility for rooms and relationships and dynamics that were never entirely yours to manage. And your exhaustion is not weakness. It is the honest record of everything you have silently held. You don't need to be fixed. You need to be understood. And maybe, for now, that's enough.